Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us. So I'm here with an alumna from our Morocco Multiculturalism and Human Rights program, and I'm very grateful that you took some time today to speak with us, Katherine. Would you like to take a moment to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Katherine Butler Dines. I attend Georgetown University in the School of Foreign Service, and I'm a regional studies major focused on the Middle East. I attended the SIT Human Rights and Multiculturalism program in Morocco in the fall of 2015.
Well, thank you very much again, and we'll jump right into it here. Yeah, there are a lot of study abroad options there, especially from a location such as Georgetown and the School of Foreign Service. So, can you tell us a little bit what appealed to you about the Morocco Multiculturalism program and why you chose SIT?
Sure. I chose SIT because I wanted to do independent research, and the Georgetown programs that were offered in Morocco were very much focused either just on attending classes, or they were actually at Al Ahwain University, where it's an English-speaking university. So I wanted a program where I could really focus on learning the language. I could be living with a host family, and then most of all, that I had the opportunity to do independent research. And so SIT really appealed to me.
Excellent. I'm very glad to hear that. Do you want to go in a little bit deeper as to what you did for your independent research?
Sure. So I decided to research the public perceptions in youth, specifically people under the age of 30, so between 18 and 30, the perceptions of the Moroccan state's promotion of Sufism. Recently, Morocco has become kind of this very well-known international model for countering violent extremism through really focusing on the education of people about Islam, because obviously Islam is the national religion and all people in Morocco are presumed to be Muslim. And so the idea is that by educating all of the citizens in a more complete and kind of better informed way, they're hoping to kind of dispel a lot of the myths and a lot of the ways that people end up becoming radicalized. And so one of the things that they've done is taken Sufism as a kind of more tolerant and moderate form of Islam and promoted that through education, through holding a bunch of different conferences, and obviously in the media as well. And I was really interested to know if all of this talk about Sufism and all of this political discourse surrounding it actually had any impact on the way in which people practiced Islam themselves. And what I discovered was that no, it doesn't. There's a really big discrepancy in Morocco between the government discourse on religion and the actual practice of people. And so that to me was really fascinating. And I think that when the West is so focused on kind of finding ways to counter violent extremism that doesn't take physical or military force, Morocco has the beginnings of a really great program and something that could eventually become a model for other countries. But at the moment, there needs to be a bridging of what the government discourse is and how people actually practice. So that was kind of what I was attempting to do with my research, was kind of fill the void of academic research on if this program was actually effective.
That sounds very in-depth and extremely fascinating. So now my next question for you is, have you been able to continue that research? And you did mention that you're a regional studies major in the School of Foreign Service there at Georgetown. So I see and assume that you've continued in your theme and field, but have you developed that ISP further now that you're back at Georgetown?
I haven't developed the exact ISP. I think that I spent I ended up writing a very, very long ISP that I was very proud of, and it was very in-depth. And so I felt like I'd kind of exhausted my question when I returned to Georgetown, but this issue of the discrepancies between Moroccan government discourse and actual religious practice is something that I'm going to continue exploring, and I'm hoping that I will get a Fulbright scholarship once I graduate to return to Morocco and actually focus more on the sources of Islamic education in Morocco and how there is a nationalized Islamic education program, but kind of exploring if that's where actually people are learning about Islam or if they're learning about it from alternate sources. So my ISP, I think, definitely has served me very well I'm now a very confident researcher. I'm much more confident in my Arabic. I did the majority of that research in Arabic. So I definitely now know kind of what I need to do to plan to go back to Morocco and continue doing research.
Well, please make sure you keep us up to date in regards to that and let us know if you do end up back in Morocco, because we always like to keep tabs on our alumni.
I will.
Now, to change tracks a little bit, you were in Morocco and you experienced firsthand that our programs are on the smaller side. You're in one of our bigger programs there. You were in one of our bigger programs there in the Morocco Multiculturalism program, and yet that only had 35 students.
Right.
So we like keeping it small to keep it very intimate and allow you to have the experiential education in a more personal manner. But on the same time, that would be hard for people to get to know what SIT really is. So I want to hear how you would explain SIT to somebody who has no idea who we are.
So I think kind of if I'm explaining it to a person who is just looking for a study abroad program, I'd say that SIT is a program that's really focused on you developing as an individual your kind of independent thinking, your critical reasoning, and also just your confidence as a traveler. It's not a program, and I can only speak to my experiences in Morocco, but I think that SIT tends to really attract students who are very self-motivated and are kind of already have ideas about what they really want to explore with their independent study project. And there's immense support on the ground. So if you have no clue what you want to study when you go there, that's not a problem. And I know I thought I was studying one thing and ended up researching a totally different thing. But I think that it really is a program that's best suited to people who really want the independence and also really want the ability to kind of explore a country more than just seeing cultural sites. It really allows you to understand the history and the politics kind of not just on the surface level, but from the perspectives of academics who they bring in to lecture, and from having a host family who just really, is there to help you integrate into a community. And so that I think is something that's very special, and it doesn't feel like you're just like a tourist. It feels like you are actually a member of the community, and certainly you look very different and you probably don't speak the language as well as everybody there, but in my experience, SIT does a very good job of integrating you into the local community.
You really spoke to many aspects of experiential learning that makes me enjoy what I do here. And I love hearing that the students have opened their eyes to experiential learning as well. Now, I'm going to be mean, some people have told me, and ask you to pick one aspect of the program that you just explained that was your favorite while you were there in Morocco.
My favorite aspect of Morocco was my host family. I am not sure if I just got lucky or I kind of think that everyone really had good host families. I think that sometimes you connect with a host family more than other times. And SIT and the Center for Cross-Cultural Learning in Morocco really worked with students to make sure that they found the best fit. But for me, my host family was just the most loving and welcoming group of people that I've ever met. And they instantly made me feel welcome and made sure that I understood that I wasn't simply a guest or that I wasn't a burden, but that I was a member of their family. And they treated me with so much patience and love when I'm struggling to speak Arabic with them, and I don't know that I shouldn't be eating with my left hand, and I have to eat couscous with a spoon when everybody else can eat it with their hands, and just all of these little faux pas that I was making. I never felt that I was an outsider by any means. There are people who I still talk to coming back, and who, a large reason why I want to go back to Morocco is because I want to spend more time with them. So for me, that was just the absolute best part, was how well organized the host families were and how well kind of chosen, but furthermore, just the absolute generosity that everyone in my host family showed me.
I have not yet mastered how to eat couscous with your hands, so don't worry.
I was still using a spoon at the end of the semester.
Yeah, and I've been working in this region of the world for over 5 years now. So if you master it, come back to me and let me know how to do it. So now I want to ask you, and this is the last question we have for today. I want to ask you if there was one thing that you wish you knew previously, that you know now that you wish you knew previous to your time in Morocco, what would that be?
I think it relates to being a woman, and I think for me, I had studied abroad in Jordan, and so I felt actually much more prepared. So this is a piece of advice I wish I'd had before I went to Jordan, and I wish girls on my program had had before they came to Morocco, which is that you have to really live in the present, and you also really have to accept the limits of your position in society. And that's not to say that the patriarchal society in Morocco or the level of street harassment and kind of lewd comments that get made towards not just foreign women, but Moroccan women, it's unacceptable, absolutely. But at the end of the day, you really have to remember that you're going there because, you want to learn about the culture and you want to learn the language. And you're only there for 3.5 months. And so to really, enjoy the little moments and try and have an attitude that doesn't get you too frustrated with the fact that, your power and your position in society as a woman is going to be very different than it is in America. But if you can go into the program knowing that there are going to be limits and there are going to be comments and, daily struggles there, but you know that that's not just affecting you, that happens to all women in Morocco, Moroccan or foreign. And you also know that, you're leaving in 3 months, and so you have to just make the best of every single day and find the little things. Like for me, it was the sunsets, that even when I had a bad day, I just focused on like seeing the sunset over the ocean, and I was like, it's all okay. So really making sure that you're prepared to kind of let the harassment or comments roll off you, and to consider that if that's something that you're not ready to do or something that you think you're going to struggle with more, that maybe Morocco, is not the country for you. I think that it really takes a lot of self-reflection before you go abroad to know if it's, a system, a patriarchal system in which you can really succeed.
Well, thank you very much. That was very well put, and I appreciate your candid response to that. Now, we've come to the end of the questions that I normally have prepared for these interviews, but I want to say, is there anything, any last word, I always like to give the alumni the last word, that you would like to say to somebody out there who's considering studying abroad in general, in the Middle East or in Morocco? What would that be?
Well, definitely study abroad. If you're considering it, just do it. You won't regret it. I think I've been very lucky to study abroad multiple times, and every single time I come back, and I might have had a really difficult time, and there might be lots of things where, I'm exhausted and lots of challenges along the way, but you grow as a person, and ultimately you'll never regret having gone abroad. Um, and if you're thinking about Morocco or the Middle East in general, I think that it's really important that you consider just that it is a culture, and this is, one, the culture in Morocco is not monolithic, and nor is it across the Middle East, but that, there's going to be very, very, very big differences between your life in America and your life in the country, but that if you are willing to just kind of try and be as open and patient as possible with yourself and with everyone in the country, then the challenges, you're always going to overcome them.
Well, thank you very much again for taking time today, and I really appreciate how much you've led us into your 3.5 months in Morocco. And I wish you the best of luck in what I believe is your final year at Georgetown.
Yeah, I have this semester and then my senior year, so 2.5 semesters left.
2.5 semesters, perfect. So I look forward to hearing more about you, and good luck on getting that Fulbright to go back to Morocco.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.
You too.
Thank you.